Welcome everybody to the Verduzco Family Podcast, episode 1. Today we're asking questions related to financial and physical health. So we don't know what we're going to get into, but here we go. We got a few questions for each other. I hope you find some value in it. So the first question is, do you, Sierra, take me as your husband?
Yes.
Okay, I got a little worried there. It was too long of a pause. Do you miss working at the bank?
I miss working at the bank. I love working at the bank.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think about it from time to time and I miss it. I wish I was waking up, getting ready, going to Portland to go work.
Mm-hmm.
I love working with my team. I miss them.
Mm-hmm.
I miss my job.
Mm-hmm.
I miss my position. I miss all the training. I miss learning things, helping people. I love my job. Yes, I miss it. But I do enjoy what I'm doing right now. I love caring for our baby. I love that I'm able to teach her things, talk to her, know her first words, know her first footsteps, know everything that she does. I feel like she's growing so quickly that I love what I'm doing now. It's just, they're two totally different jobs. And I love that I'm a stay-at-home mom now. I love that I didn't leave that company or job for another company.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah. Like, I'm here with my family, so it's different.
Absolutely.
But I do love that job. And if I were looking to get another job, I would go back and apply at the same company.
All right.
Yeah.
So Gina, if you're listening.
Right.
That's awesome. And so, wait, you used to work at a credit union?
Right. Yes. Used to work at a credit union. I became a branch manager. I worked there for 7 years. I started as a financial representative. Most people start as a teller if you have no experience or if you have like no degree in finance or just anything business-wise. But because I had some previous experience doing loans, I was able to become a financial representative. And then just throughout the years, started moving up with experience.
Awesome.
Yeah. But I did finish back to a financial representative, but that's a long story. But I would actually just consider me ending my banking career, I guess, as a branch manager.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And again, we'll dive more into those things.
Yes. Let me ask you a question, Joshua. So you're currently a dietitian.
Yes.
So as an RD, what does RD exactly stand for?
Registered Dietitian Nutritionist, so RDN.
Okay.
Also LDN, which is Licensed Dietitian Nutritionist. And so in order to operate in a state, you need to have a license for that state.
Okay.
So mine is in Texas, obviously. So
You have to renew it yearly?
yes, we have to renew the license every 2 years, and then we have to take continuing education credits to maintain our credential, which is the RD credential, every 5 years.
Wow.
Yeah, because they don't.
So I can't just become one. I can't just go to your job and say I'm an RD.
No, you got to provide some proof that you're licensed to kill or heal.
Or heal. So as an RD, do you like creating meal plans? Would you say that you like meal plans?
So I created a ton of meal plans as a student, as an intern and early in my career as a dietitian. And I'll say they are a lot of work for me personally.
Okay.
For someone else, man, they can knock them out like crazy. But for me, what always stuck with me in my head was, man, am I really typing eat 3 ounces of asparagus at 3 p.m. for someone that I don't even know likes asparagus, nor do I know if they can eat at 3 p.m.
Wow.
So that just never sat well with me because that's how meal plans are, right?
Yeah.
You have an amount to eat, you have a time to eat, you have all these, guidelines for someone to consume food, which is nothing wrong with that. I mean, in reality, the more structure you can have with your meals, the more you can manage your nutrition. So meal plans are great. However, the thing that I've experienced as a dietitian is that people get frustrated when they fall off. And that's where
that's where you feel creating a meal plan for someone isn't like...
We could do better than that.
Okay.
We could do better than a meal plan.
Got it.
Yeah. We could set you up with better things that you can actually stick to and you could sustain for across time. So I have something better, guys.
You're like, it's not about a meal plan that's going to help you.
Yeah.
What is the best diet?
So that's a great question. There are lots of diets out there, and all of them have their pros and some of them have their cons. And the cool thing is that any human who has ever consumed food tends to live, and that's good. So we could already start there, is that, hey, as long as you're eating food, you're doing a great job. So give yourself a pat on the back.
You're like, if you lose your appetite or if you're not eating, that's a bad
diet. That's a bad diet. So all jokes aside, though, again, the good news is that there's a variety of different diets across the world. And if we look at any particular diet across the world, we see that people are thriving. People are doing great, whether it's the Mediterranean diet, your favorite.
I know.
Whether it's...
But I don't like that diet just because I've done a lot of research on it.
Yeah. Well, what do you like about it?
I like that, I know doctors will recommend that diet because it's very nutritional and loaded with vitamins and stuff. They'll recommend that diet versus medication.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yes, yeah. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Like, have you heard of anyone like putting you on the American diet?
Yeah, they call it the SAD diet.
Right. Yeah.
The standard American diet.
Right, like hot dogs and pizza.
Yeah, which, oh my gosh, those are tasty foods.
I know, my kind of diet.
Yeah. Yeah, so you have the SAD diet and you have the happy diet. So I want to be on the happy diet. What about you?
I want to be on a happy diet.
So again, my view, my experience is that there are certain eating patterns that we probably should stay away from the fact that it can cause us to gain unnecessary body fat that can do a lot of bad things. And there are certain foods that provide more vitamin and minerals than others. But humans don't eat for vitamins and minerals. That's the thing that I've always had trouble with.
Yeah.
Is we'll talk about it. Textbooks will say things. Doctors will say things. Dietitians will say things. But when I'm thinking about it in my own head, I'm thinking people don't eat for vitamin A. People don't eat for vitamin C. They're eating for culture reasons. They're eating for family reasons. They're eating for taste. They're eating for experience. That's why restaurants are such a great industry, because people go there for the experience. You know, so I view food and eating and meals much bigger than just, oh, you need to get your vitamin C, which obviously you want to get a variety of vitamins and minerals. But
I think you mentioned in the past that we are getting them.
Yes.
Whether we know about it or not.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, the fact is that we don't live in a third world country where we're starving and it's hard to get food, and you know, that's a bad place to be, because then you end up with malnutrition. You actually end up with certain vitamin and mineral deficiencies. Now, don't get me wrong, you know, there's obviously conditions that cause people, even in America, to have conditions where they're more likely to have a deficiency, something like Crohn's disease, or, you know, some congenital disease. There's another disease called glycogen storage disease, where for whatever reason the body cannot store carbohydrates, and that's bad news. Bad things will happen. You do not want to have that type of disease. So there are real things out there. There's conditions out there that dietitians can help with through what we call medical nutrition therapy. It's basically putting together a nutrition plan for that specific condition in order to help manage their disease.
Okay.
So,
but generally speaking, That's for that type of person. That's where you would create that type of nutritional plan.
Yeah, for the average person, they're usually asking one of two things, which is what is the best diet to where it can either maintain or improve my health, or what is the best diet to where I can lose some body fat or some weight. And again, I have to address that on an individual basis, but there are general guidelines, and we can talk about those in a bit.
Yeah, and I guess it's like we're not really deficient in vitamins and stuff. And if that was the case, I mean, the only way we would know is probably if we had like blood work.
Yes, correct.
And most of the time, we're pretty healthy, generally speaking.
Yeah.
Most people are healthy.
Yeah.
Unless
In
the
America.
doctor tells you otherwise.
Yeah. In fact, we're fighting a battle of overnutrition. So overweight, obesity, where we're getting too much calories. We're getting too much of these things to where the likelihood that you're going to be deficient in something is very rare unless there's a condition.
It's just more of having control, self-control over overeating, probably.
Oh, that's
Or
a whole nother topic.
Balancing your meals,
Yeah.
not needing to consume more of something.
Yeah. Well, and it's not really the individual's fault either at the same time, because we live in an environment where we have access to lots of tasty foods.
That's true.
And so it's not necessarily our fault or that we need to use even more willpower. It's, I mean, we're being targeted and marketed all these amazing tasty foods.
Yeah, that's true. And then I've also heard, I've known a few people who just can't seem to lose weight also. And it's not anything that they're not doing, or it's not because they're overeating. It's just they have, like, I think it's called PCOS. Women suffer from that, where it's hard to lose weight. I know there's like thyroid disease, I think.
Yeah, so PCOS is polycystic ovarian syndrome. I believe.
Yeah,
I think I got it wrong. But anyways, that's the idea. It's a condition in females where they have some difficulty managing their weight, losing weight for a variety of different reasons, from mainly because of hormonal reasons. Those women who have that condition or syndrome tend to be more insulin resistant. And that just means basically they're less likely to tolerate carbohydrates better than someone else. And that can be a little issue in terms of losing weight. So again, that falls into a condition, and dietitians and doctors are trained into knowing what those conditions are and applying either medication or diet and lifestyle for that particular condition.
That's nice. I like that.
Yeah. Polycystic ovarian syndrome. I think that's what it is. It's going to bother me all night.
As soon as our video's done, I already know you're going to go look it up.
So yeah, back to you, my love. Great questions. When you were working as a branch supervisor, what did you love most about your position?
I think, I know, as challenging as it was for me, and whether I had great days or bad days, I think I loved most being able to set the tone as soon as I walked into the building, being happy. I think that rubbed off on my team. So I feel like the majority of the time we were all happy. And I think I have a very bubbly personality. So I think I was able to mesh well with a lot of my members, whether they were upset, mad, if they had a different type of personality. Maybe they were like a very angry person, because sometimes I would hear like, this person's always mad every time they come up to me, or whatever the case may be. But I was able to always turn that around. So I feel like I found joy in being a, like, not a complaint. Like if there was a complaint department, I feel like I would love to work in that department, because I feel like I love being able to make people see the bright side or turn the situation around. But also I loved helping people build their credit, because I feel like I was able to put them in homes that they never thought they could get into, or get into their dream cars. I was able to put them into apartments, and it was all from step one, helping them start their credit, until they were able to accomplish their goal. And I feel like if my members could see this video, they would be commenting right now, yes, you helped me, you helped me. Because I still have members reaching out to me to this day. I mean, one of them came visit us, like visit me here the other day, still asking me for help. So I feel like I loved helping people.
Why do you think people enjoyed working with you?
I think they could sense that I was coming from a genuine place. That's what I feel. Because if I didn't know the answer, I would tell them. And I think most of the time, if I was referring them to someone or like giving them some type of advice, they would see like the results. And so that built my credibility.
Yeah.
And it made them want to keep coming back, regardless if it was for finance or for something else. I felt like because I established that credibility, they would come back because they felt like they could trust me.
Gotcha.
So I feel like people like working with me because they knew I was being genuine.
Okay. So not only could you combat the boss Karens, but
Right.
you could also, people also enjoyed working with you because you actually solved their problems that they came in to the best that you could.
Yeah, and I think as much as I struggle at speaking like publicly and
You don't actually.
You don't think so?
No.
I think so.
And I don't think anyone does listening to this or watching this because you're actually in front of a camera.
Well, yes, but they're not right here in front of me. But you're right. Okay, so I feel like I do struggle at speaking sometimes, or I get shy.
Yes.
I get shy, but I feel like people love talking to me, and I was a great communicator whenever
There
it
you
was
go.
just like one-on-one or in my office where we could talk about anything, finances, credit building, getting into a home, maybe someone just passed away. I was always open to talking to them and listening to them versus someone, majority of the time, you can go to any business and people just want to hurry up, get you in and out.
Okay.
You know?
Yes.
And I feel like I was there and I'm so like, I love talking to people. So they knew that and they like talking to me.
Yeah, customers and patients, since we work
Kind of
with
do the
both of them,
same, yeah.
they're not dumb. They are paying attention closer than you think. And so they will sense if, to your point, if you're rushing them, if you're inauthentic, they can sense those. And we can too
Yeah.
as consumers.
Exactly.
We can go into Best Buy and we can approach a sales associate and ask them for directions or where's this product. And if they immediately are rude, give us attitude, we're turned off. And we're like, man, forget this person.
Someone get me someone else.
Yeah. So, clients and customers and patients, they're always watching and looking and paying attention to you. And so you were able to provide that positive experience along with actually getting them results that they were looking for. So
Yeah, and that's also
I'd
one
come
of the...
back to you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
No, but I like that. And I feel like that's one of the things that we would talk about at Coast Life a lot of the times was, what really sets you apart from the other person or other company that's just like you is the experience you provide.
Yep.
So, I mean, as soon as someone walks in, you need to smile. You need to greet them. You need to be yourself, but make sure that's not like a bad taste in their mouth. Don't be like mean. Don't be looking down. I mean, be pleasant to be with. Yeah.
Yeah, if I was a 17-year-old working and I had my boss tell me to smile and say hello, I would just be like, why? I don't want to.
Yeah.
So I get it when you're younger, you don't think of those small things. But I guess as you get older and you actually have a meaningful career, you realize how important all those little things are when it
Yeah.
comes to providing a positive experience
That's true,
to that
yeah.
person.
Let me ask you a question.
Okay.
Let's see. Are carbs bad for you?
Are carbohydrates bad for you? When I first started, when I was a student learning nutrition, even before then, I used to believe that there were good carbohydrates and bad carbohydrates. There were simple carbs and complex carbs. But as I learned more and more as a student, then I graduated, and then I became a dietitian, and I worked with patients from all walks of life. I realized that it was never really carbohydrates. Because let's talk about carbohydrate foods for a second. What are some of the main carbohydrate foods?
Potatoes.
There you go. Potatoes. Kick us off, babe. Potatoes, corn, peas, beans. Those are kind of your main start. Rice, wheat, and wheat bread, wheat products. Those are all your main sources of starches, carbohydrates. And people are not getting fat off of those foods. Where they are getting a little bit hefty around the corners is those foods plus dietary fat. So let's go back to the potato. So a boiled potato, cut up, boiled, and served, it's going to fill you up. It's not going to be super high in calories. It's going to be high in carbohydrates. But generally speaking, no one's getting oversized from boiled potatoes. But then we make mashed potatoes. What do we add into it?
Butter.
We add butter.
Cheese,
do they add milk?
Bacon.
Yeah, we add everything, right? We add every sour cream. We load it.
Yeah.
So the point there is that when you add carbohydrate and fat, that's where those two become a problem. They're like two kids in a house, a boy and a girl, and they're like, "Hey, we're gonna mess this house up," and they just proceed to destroy the entire living room with all their toys. And so that's carbohydrate and fat when they're together. When they're separated, they're a little bit more manageable in terms of the foods that you eat. So what are some combination foods? Combination foods means that it's both carbohydrate and fat in that particular food item. Cake, cookies, pizza, ice cream. All those foods are what we call combination foods, where they have fat and carbohydrate. And that results in higher calories per whatever food item or per meal that you're eating. So carbs are not bad in it of themselves. It's more when we combine those two macronutrients, and it's a party in our mouth.
I like parties.
So do I.
I love pizza.
Yeah,
I could eat pizza a lot.
Me too.
How do you lose weight?
How does one lose weight? Well, I was very curious about this question for a long time. And so I studied it. I went to school for it. But then it came to a point where it was, I want to lose weight myself, so I can speak a little bit more clearly on it, understand some of the challenges that people face, albeit I'll never understand someone who's obese. But I can definitely guide them to lose some weight. But I ended up losing 36 pounds. Most people, when I tell them that, they're like, from where? And I was weighing about 195, 196 pounds in 2021. I was actually preparing for a competition, a bodybuilding competition. And so in order to reach the certain body fat levels that I wanted to, I needed to reach a certain weight. And I was able to lose 36 pounds across 9 months. And I learned a lot from it. And so I combined what I knew about food, eating, the body, weight loss, and I applied it, and I got the results. And I learned a lot of awesome things through that experience, which was, the biggest one was, it takes a lot longer than, I guess, the fitness industry or supplement companies or fat loss programs tell you. A lot of them tell you, hey, it's only going to take 30 days or 60 days or even 90 days. And you can make progress in a matter of weeks. But I guess where a lot of people get discouraged is they're sold this idea that you can look like Kim Kardashian in 30 days.
Wow.
And someone's 200, 250, 300 pounds. And it's like, well, it's going to be a journey. It's going to be a challenge. And I have some recommendations on what people can expect in terms of how much they can lose on a weekly basis. And so basically that looks like anywhere from 1 to 3 pounds per week that you could potentially lose. So all you do is, how much weight do you want to lose? Okay, 30 pounds. Great. If your weight loss is 1 pound per week, that is 30 weeks. And so now you have your plan or your program, right? It's going to take me 30 weeks to lose these 30 pounds, losing 1 pound per week.
So you start your plan like that.
Yes.
How many pounds do you want to lose?
Exactly.
And then you decide, okay, how long is it going to take me to lose 1 pound? So if it's 1 pound
Per week.
yeah. Then 30
weeks. Okay. Now, people might automatically hear that and be like, oh my gosh, that's too long. There's no way. And don't fear. You can actually,
Josh is here.
Yeah. You can actually give yourself a range. You could say, hey, I plan to lose or anticipate to lose anywhere from 1 to 3 pounds per week. Usually in the beginning, you're going to lose a little bit more per week. So the first week you might lose up to 3, maybe even 4, maybe even 5 pounds. Usually and typically that's water weight, but who cares because it's weight lost. And so you can even say, well, if I lose 2 pounds per week, you can half that time, and you could say you want to lose 30 pounds still, and you lose 2 pounds per week, that's 15 weeks. So you cut it in half. Got it. So you give yourself a range. Hey, I want to lose up to 30 pounds. It may take me anywhere from 15 weeks to 30 weeks. Okay, that's a lot more manageable. What you're doing is you're setting your expectations from the beginning. That way you're not discouraged. Week 1, you're like, they told me I was going to lose 10 pounds this first week.
Yeah,
and I didn't.
Disappointed.
And you're going to be disappointed and you're going to stop. The last thing we want to do when it comes to weight management is
set an unrealistic goal.
Set an unrealistic goal, because what they found in studies is that if the person is frustrated early on, the likelihood that they'll continue is very low. So we want these people to actually succeed. Okay. I've ever told you that I really enjoy, and I've never enjoyed talking to anyone else as much as I do you.
Really?
Yeah. I really enjoy talking with you.
I love it too.
About anything and everything.
I love talking with you, and I love talking whenever we're in a group setting with our friends, your friends most of the time. I love talking with you too.
Yeah. It's the best.
Yes.
If you could find someone in this life to do life with and actually enjoy talking with, because there's people who are together and they hate talking.
Or they just hate being around each other.
I'm not saying that we're perfect either. We've had plenty of arguments and we both wanted to shake each other to oblivion. But, 95% of the time, I enjoy talking with you.
Thank you, babe.
Yes.
I love talking with you too.
Yes. So back to where we were. How does someone who's young and probably never had a job before, or maybe had 1 or 2 jobs, how would they, and they're interested in the finance or banking industry, how would they become a branch supervisor? How could they become a branch supervisor?
I would say working hard for sure. Letting it be known to your upper management team. Vocalizing that early on, so that way they know that the position you're currently in isn't what you want. I mean, also dressing for the job you want, I think. Giving it your all. In the current position that you have been offered, whatever position you currently were offered, maybe it was a teller or a representative, putting all your efforts forward. So that means training, if there's training that they have on Saturdays and it's not required, going to them. Okay. Showing, after you vocalized it, now showing them that you are about putting in the work. I think that's important. Getting familiar with all the products and services.
I like that.
Yeah, getting familiar with them, because that's how you get set apart from other people. I think someone can come in and have a degree, and here you are 2 years in, you know all their products and services. You familiarize yourself with all their guidelines, their policies. And then you have someone here that comes in with a degree, but they don't know nothing about your company. So I think my company has always been really, really good about knowing who wants what position and who is able to handle that position. So I think it's, you need to vocalize what you want and then work very hard to get there.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's a good answer.
Yeah, because when I started out as a financial representative, and I emailed HR and I told her I would love to become a supervisor one day. And at that moment, I've already had moved up another position. I became our financial service processor. So this particular position was just a step up from the current one I had, not by much, but it was just learning different products. And so after that, I emailed HR and I let her know I would like to become a supervisor. This is why I enjoy what I do, but I feel like I would be beneficial to, like, not teaching someone, but leading by example. That's what I felt like I would be good at. And so sure enough, we had a position become available. It was a supervisor for one of our high school locations in Ray High School. And it wasn't a big supervisor job. It was something very small, but I think it was a great stepping stone for me. Because it allowed me to learn the next step with not having so much responsibility. So I learned more stuff, but not so much at one time. Where then my company set me up for success. So I think it all your company also needs to know. Like, my company was really good about knowing what someone could handle, their experience they've come from. And so they wouldn't put you in something that they know you were going to fail in. I feel they were really good about that. So whenever I became the supervisor for the small location, the next position I had was a branch supervisor, but it was for a location that didn't have like an ATM. It didn't have a drive-through. So it didn't have a lot of people to manage. And so that was my next role. And then my next role was now managing an ATM, a drive-through, a larger team, more stuff. And I love doing what I did, but I'm going off topic. So that's how someone could become a manager without having a degree and just by giving it all they have.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're going back to what you were saying, though, is that the companies set you up for success. Is that
I feel they did.
They gave you just enough responsibility to then learn that position and those responsibilities, that way you could be ready for the next step.
Well, yeah, because I feel like whenever you go into a company, you're going to be equal with a lot of people. But what can set you apart, and so some people may very well not want a higher position. They're happy where they're at. Our company, so all financial service representatives, you had the ability to make more money with loan incentives. So some people feel like, I don't want to become a supervisor. Why would I want more responsibility if I'm already making what they make by getting these incentives, right? So they're happy where they're at. But there are some people who feel like, no, I want to go to the next level because it's not about the money for me. It's about being able to make a difference in other people's lives. It's about leading by example. It's about being sent off to conferences. And so we're all different. And so in my experience, I wanted the next role. I wanted to move up. I feel like it was empowering for me because where I come from in my family, it was just like, I felt like I was almost breaking a generational curse. Because I was working in a bank. I was making it a career. I didn't have any college background. I had very little. Actually, I have little college background because my company encouraged me to go to school.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. And so I think, not to say that I moved up because I was better than any of my peers. I'm not trying to say that, but I made it very well known that I didn't want to just be in that position forever. I was making it my career. I wanted to move up. I dressed in high heels every single day.
Wow.
I love dressing up, and I think it's important to know all your products and services, and anything that they give you in that position, you could easily set yourself apart by studying them, knowing how to help people, being set apart by not even saying it that I'm being set apart, but just because people love you and things like that. And they don't love you because they love you. They love you because you're trustworthy to them. You're trustworthy to them. You can help them get approved for loans. And the next person could easily do that too, but they would need to know their products and services.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's a lot, but I think just those things, vocalize it, dress for the job you want, and then put in all your best efforts for it.
Those are great suggestions.
Yeah.
And especially dressing.
You don't want to go to work with a wrinkled shirt and be telling them, I want to be a supervisor. Because they're like, well, if you're dressed here with a wrinkled shirt, I mean, and you're supposed to be leading by example, you can't have everyone dressed in a wrinkled shirt.
Yeah.
So you got to dress. So
Yeah, especially those blue pants that you used to wear.
yeah, I sold those, by the way.
Oh, no. Okay. Well, that was good.